We're here now with 2024 Polk County Sports Hall of Fame inductee George Tinsley. And Mr. Tinsley, congratulations. This has got to be an exciting moment.
Thank you. It is. I'm very, very excited, especially from the standpoint of being selected as a contributor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. And that's exactly how you're going in the Hall of Fame for all that you've done in the community and giving back. But before we get there, you're a pretty good athlete as well.
Well, I've had a pretty good career, even though as far as the professional side, it was a short career. We call it a cup of coffee, but very successful in college, 3 national championships and a 3rd place. And since I've been here, playing senior sports,
Sure.
basketball and also softball, so had a great after career, if you will.
Yeah. Let's get to the community side,
Sure.
because it's been important to you, and obviously all the things that you've done over the years is exactly why you're being inducted to the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame. Why has it been important to you to be involved and to give back?
Well, it was important for several reasons, but the very top one is that that's someone did it for me. And when I was growing up, excuse me, and in the community, athletics opened the door for me to get an education, quality education, and be able to take care of myself. So through all of that and the success that I had in those days, I just felt that it was something that I wanted to do. My wife, who were kind of equally yoked in that whole giving back scenario, has been a big part of that. So, seeing these young kids have an opportunity to see what works for them in what particular sport, sponsoring sports teams in the area, and just being actively involved with it has been a tremendous honor to me.
So as you get ready for tonight, obviously we're talking before the actual induction occurs.
Yeah.
There's going to be 800 people here. It's a great event. Polk County is such a hotbed of talent in all sports.
Yeah.
If you can give us just a sneak peek of what your speech is going to talk about, what are you going to say to the youngsters that are in the crowd tonight?
Well, I'm just going to say that just be the best you can be. Put your best foot forward. Failure is not final. You're going to have some doors closed on you. You're going to lose some, but that's just an opportunity to bounce back. Athletics opens doors to your career after your career. In sports, our livelihood only lasts so long. The body gets a little older, and there's always young people coming along, so younger people coming along. So, be the best you can and see what your fallback position is going to be, whether it's whatever that might be, business, education, etc. But take advantage of the opportunities to get a good quality education, and be prepared to, after your playing career is over with, to step into something that could be very beneficial to your community.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
Enjoy
you,
the
sir.
night, and just soak it all in.
Yep. Thank you. I
All right,
appreciate it.
thank you.
Good evening. I want to first thank God for the opportunity to be here and celebrating each one of the honorees tonight and the accomplishments that each have had. Excuse me. I keep getting the question from different people, I thought you were already in the Hall of Fame. And I guess that's because of my age and the length of time that I've been here. And, of course, Mark, I got that comment about bedtime, so we'll speed this thing up and make sure that we're able to get to bed on time. But I want to first also thank Mr. Bob Alexander, Bob, for opening the door for this to be selected and be before the committee to be selected. So, Bob, I really appreciate that. I want to also, in line, make sure that I thank my lovely wife, Saritha, over here, who has been my partner in crime for 52 years plus. And we've gone through some real interesting times in the 40 years we've been here in Polk County with our business. I also want to thank my son, who is now stepping forward to run our company and continue the obligation that we feel that we have in the community that in giving back. So I look forward to seeing him out there in the space. You know, in coming here, I ran into two individuals that played basketball for me when they were in junior high school. And now one, her daughter, I think, is receiving an award tonight. So it makes me feel like a grandfather, if you will. So we've been doing this a long time. But the community here in Arbondale, Winter Haven, Lakeland, and Haines City has been very good to us. We have enjoyed giving back to the youth in the community as a sponsor, as a coach, as a mentor, doing whatever we could to promote and push these young people to the next level, and seeing where athletics leads them. Because for me in particular, had not it been for athletics, I'm not sure where I would be. I learned the game of basketball at a very early age that opened doors for me, from education, to get an education, to be able to get a scholarship to college, have the opportunity to travel around the world, win some NCAA championships in D2, and all of that. You develop an attitude that you can be successful no matter what you do. We're all going to fail. We're all going to have those obstacles that get in your way, and you feel that the world's against you. But in sports, you learn how to win and you learn how to lose. You learn how to turn a loss into a win, because you go back and you take a look at why you lost and you fix it. You make sure that you work hard and come back out prepared to be successful. And that works in any industry, any venue that you decide to pursue, because athletics, at some particular point, will come to an end. The body gets older, slower, and you can't perform the way that you did at the top of your game. So you got to have a fallback position, and that education, and also the people that you meet in your life that you have a good experience with, doors will open up. I had no idea about getting into business, but that opportunity presented itself with the Colonel Harlan Sanders, back in 1976. Who would ever thunk it, that would happen? But I learned from him, transformed those skills that I learned on the basketball court, how to teamwork, how to motivate, how to make things work as a unit, and how to be successful, and transform those into the business world, and that has worked. So to you youngsters out here who are receiving awards and getting recognition tonight, cherish that, cherish what got you there, continue to develop those particular skills, and you'll have the world at your feet, and being able to achieve whatever particular goal that you have. And last thing, when I first came to Winter Haven in the area, I started playing in senior basketball. And Mr. Pearsall over here, who's sitting very quietly over there, I met him, and I was very, very impressed with him, his enthusiasm, his excitement, his ability to communicate. And then I decided to go watch him play basketball. And Mr. Pearsall may have been about 60 years old at that particular time. They were playing 3-on-3 in Haines City. And the final score of that game was like 8-6. But they had 2 technical fouls called in that game, where these old guys were out there really being competitive. But that's the spirit that it takes, and at his age and my age, and all that continues to want to push you to get out there to be a winner. So to you youngsters, keep pushing. the Hall of Fame committee, I want to thank you for this honor tonight. Appreciate it, and wish you well.
It's a pleasure to be joined now by Mike Cobb, a member of the class of 2024. Obviously, we're pre-induction, so what are the butterflies like, and what's this moment like for you, Mike?
It's kind of surreal. I mean, I'm overwhelmed by it. I'm not sure it's really sunk in yet. Such an honor to be in the Hall of Fame with so many great people, and most of them I've had the privilege to write about through the years, and it's just I'm not sure yet what I feel, other than a little nervous getting up there on the stage.
We'll ask you afterward.
Yeah. Also, really excited and thrilled to join my wife in the Hall of Fame. That's special, I think, that she's in. You know, I'm going in. It's certainly, to me, it certainly points out. I started thinking back on all the years that I worked at the Ledger, all of the people that I interviewed, all the great athletes, coaches, people in the Hall of Fame. Some of them aren't in the Hall of Fame, but probably should be. Some of them will be at some point.
It's one of the hard things about Polk County. There's so many deserving.
Well, that's the thing. You know, my job was easy. You know, writing at the Ledger.
Well, let's talk about that, because you're going in the contributor category, and all that you have contributed, obviously, to Polk County through your career in journalism and working for the Ledger all those years. But, you know, the amount of talent that is produced and comes out of Polk County, I said it earlier talking about this event. It's an easy event to put together because of so many deserving award winners. Right. How was that writing about it?
Well, I always had a story to write. There was never a shortage of subject material to write about. The hard part was not leaving people out, because you know, you write about somebody and three other people say, well, what about me? Or
sure,
why don't you write about this? And so there's so many stories to write about. And you know, fortunately, most of those years we had a great staff. We had a lot of talented writers, a lot of talented journalists, and spreading the work out, we did a lot of great work, and I'm really proud and privileged to have been part of that. Most people know now the newspaper business is not what it used to be, and that's sad for me to see, but I understand it. But through the years, I mean, we had 8, 10, 12 people in sports,
right,
and we covered so many things. And going out away from Polk County, a lot of times I'd end up doing stories on Polk County athletes and coaches in other parts of the country.
right.
And the one thing that was always clear to me is that of all the places that I've been, the talent and of the athletes and the coaches and the teams here are as good as anywhere in the country.
That's right.
Polk County stands up to any place and every place in the country. I think one point we actually led the nation in most Major League Baseball players per capita. I don't know how many people realize that, but
yeah, and all sports, it's just unbelievable.
Football sent a bunch of athletes to colleges and NFL and a lot of Major League Baseball players, swimmers, basketball players, golf. So many athletes.
Well, we won't keep you too long. We appreciate your time, and again, congratulations and good luck tonight with the induction ceremony.
All right, Neil, thanks so much.
All right, congratulations.
I think I'm the first person that's ever kissed their presenter on the stage. And by the way, nobody else is allowed to do that. But I'm overwhelmed a little bit, and I can't tell you how much it means. First of all, to be able to go into the Hall of Fame with my wife of 49 years, Marnie. She's been my rock, my biggest supporter, and she's also been the one that's kind of kept me going and kept me on the right track for nearly a half century. And I don't know how you did it, because that's got to be a hard job. But I'd also like to say congratulations to all the other inductees tonight. Well-deserved. You all are well-deserved of the honor, and it's a privilege to be part of the class going in with all of you. You know, as Mark mentioned, I came down here, graduated from high school in Indianapolis in 1970, and I came to Florida Southern hoping to play some baseball and maybe attract the attention of some pro scouts. And my baseball career lasted 2 years before it was time to go on to something else. But I didn't realize that I had found my home here. You know, I hadn't planned on spending the rest of my life here, but looking back on it now, I can't imagine living someplace else. Yeah, I've been blessed to meet so many people, make so many friends, marry and raise a family, which is my family's down here. You saw my wife, Marnie, my daughter, Kara Taylor, and her husband, Eric, their daughters, Nora and Emily, my son, David Cobb, his wife, Liz, and their kids, Paul, Katie, and Elena. Thanks, guys. You're my foundation, and I appreciate all your support. Yeah, and I also want to thank everybody I worked with at the Ledger. We had so many blessed years at the Ledger. Such a good staff. We did so many things, and several of them are here tonight. Dick Scanlon, Rick Brown, Roy Fuco, Andy Cuppers, Bill Kemp, Lisa Coffey, Tom Hardesty, Steve Ruiz, Robert Magabet, photographer Ernst Peeners down here. We've worked many years together and done many stories together. It was a privilege to work with all of you. And, for many, many years, we did a lot of great things. And I never felt like I had a job. It was a passion. And part of it was because of the people that I worked with. And that said, there's one person tonight that's not here that I wished he was, and that's John Valerino. He was sports editor for 25 years. He and I worked together for more than 30 years. He was my college roommate for 3 years at Florida Southern, my closest friend for 54 years. John passed away last year. His wife Lorraine is here with us tonight, and so that's special. I miss John, but he's in my mind, in my hearts, and we're thinking about him. And Lorraine brought him with her tonight in a little travel container. So, thanks, John. The one thing. I look at all the people in the Hall of Fame, and as Mark said, I think I've written about almost everybody in the Hall of Fame at some point or another over 50 years. And I got to tell you, everybody, all the Hall of Famers, people that aren't in the Hall of Fame, people who will be in the Hall of Fame, y'all made my job easy because I had so much to write about, so many good things, good stories, good players, good athletes, good teams. And it was really a pleasure and a privilege to write about them. And that goes all the way back to my first year at the Ledger. Even before I started at the Ledger, I played 2 years of baseball for Hal Smeltzley and Chuck Anderson, who are in the Hall of Fame. And I graduated 1974 with Bing Tyus, who's in the Hall of Fame. My first year at the Ledger, I covered a lot of football games that involved Kathleen High School, coached by Hall of Famer Tom Eltwell, and Lakeland High School, who was coached at that time by Paul Quinn with a up-and-coming young assistant coach by the name of Bill Castle. First high school basketball game I ever covered, Coach Pearsall, was Bartow and Winter Haven. Winter Haven at Bartow, a coaching matchup of Jack Diedrich and Coach Alvin Pearsall, who's going to be inducted tonight. Jack's already in the Hall of Fame. Two legends of high school basketball coaching in Polk County. And I remember that night, covering that game. 1974, I did the Freeview story on Frostproof High School football team coached by Ferris Brannon, who's in the Hall of Fame. And they won the first state championship that year. And it was only the second state championship ever won by a Polk County high school. Now we have multiple champions. And in 1976, I covered the county junior high basketball championship game that involved Crystal Lake High School and a promising young athlete by the name of Wayne Peace. Now, you've probably heard of Wayne Peace. He went on to have a great career at Lakeland High, four-year starter at the University of Florida, set some records there. Came back, became a prominent businessman in Lakeland, and became the football coach at Lakeland Christian. 36 years after watching him play in that championship game, I was covering a Lakeland Christian football game, and Wayne was the head football coach at Lakeland Christian. And it was his 50th birthday. And they sang happy birthday to him, announced that it was his 50th birthday. And after the game, when I went down to interview Wayne, I told him, man, I remember covering you when you were in junior high, when you were 14 years old, playing in the county junior high championship. He kind of stepped back and looked at me and said, man, you're old. I remember covering 1978, Andy McGaffigan pitching for Florida Southern, helped lead Florida Southern to the Division II National Championship. It was the fourth in the school's history. And I remember one game in particular in that tournament where Andy was the starting pitcher for Florida Southern. They were playing New Haven, and the New Haven starting pitcher was a guy named Steve Bedrosian, who ended up playing many, many years in the major leagues as well. The final score of that game, by the way, was 14-10. And then in 1997, I covered USF's first football game. Coach Jim Levitt is here. He was the coach of that team. I beat Kentucky Wesleyan 80-3. And the starting quarterback that night was another inductee for tonight, Chad Barnhart. So it was a pleasure back then writing about those teams and writing about Chad, who'd also had a pro baseball career before he played college football. I could tell you a lot of more stories about my interactions with the Hall of Famers. But there's one thing that stands out to me, and I've had people ask me, what's your most memorable story, or who's the most memorable person you covered? I started thinking about it, and there isn't really one moment or one athlete or one player or one team that stands out. What stands out is just all of the great talent that's here in Polk County. I was privileged and blessed to be able to travel the country, cover everything from Little League tournaments to Super Bowls, high schools to pro athletes. And I did a lot of traveling, saw a lot of the country, went a lot of places. The one thing that always stood out to me was just how good sports are in Polk County. And this county the sports in this county and the athletes and the coaches in this county are as good as anywhere in the country. And I got to thank all of you, Hall of Famers, other coaches, athletes that are here. I got to thank you because you made my job easy. It was fun. It was fun to write about everybody, and I never had a shortage of stories to write. So, thank you all, and all in all, that 54 years ago when I made that decision to come to Lakeland and come to Florida Southern, I didn't know what was going to happen. I had no idea I was going to spend the rest of my life here. But as it turns out, I think it was a pretty good decision. Thank you.
We're here now with Coach Alvin Pearsall, and 94 years young. Is that right, sir?
Yeah, 94 years young.
Well, what does it mean to you to be part of the 2024 class to the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame?
It means a lot, and I thank God because it brings back a lot of memories, especially when it comes to the young men that played for me during my coaching years.
We'll talk about that. When you found out that you were being inducted to the Hall of Fame, did it bring back all those memories from all those practices, all those games, all those years ago?
Yes, and I tell you what, it brought a lot of joy because I had a lot of help in doing what we accomplished with the young men that we had in our care.
So if you can give us just a little sneak peek of your comments when you get up to the stage today, and there's a lot of youngsters in the crowd, there's going to be over 800 people here. What is the message you want them to understand through your comments and through your years of wisdom?
Well, it was about a way of life. A lot of people really don't understand that sports is a way of life. It helped develop the young man mentally, physically, and give them the idea of go out in life and have a positive attitude, and just thank God for every minute that you're alive and do the best that you can with the life that you have the rest to live.
Well, sir, congratulations. We look forward to seeing your official induction. It'll be here just in a few moments. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Good evening. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Good evening. Oh, that's better. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm lost for words. I'm so thankful to God. My life has been full of just love and care. And I thank God for the young men that I had an opportunity to help them go out into life and to be well-rounded. And thank God for every day that they had during their lifetime. I'm the happiest person in the world. I've been blessed, truly blessed. Being the oldest of 11 children, very poor, finished high school, didn't know how I was going to college, but I had determination. And to the young people today, you have to be determined, and you have to set goals and go for it. And put God in your life. Let God be first. And you know, everything will be all right. Today, I'm probably one of the happiest young men that you see in this room. I've had so many good things that happened to me in my life, thanks to God. And I thank Him so much for my lovely wife and my children. I've been so blessed. And tonight, I want to thank the committee and so forth for such a job well done. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We're here now with Coach Bill Bullock, and Coach, part of the 2024 Polk County Sports Hall of Fame. How's that sound to you?
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. I've been to many of these, but I never really thought much about being up on the stage at any of these.
So when you got the call, what was that moment like, and what immediately came to mind? Was it the practices? Was it the games?
Mm-hmm.
Was it all those years as AD? What was it?
I think it was just absolutely just an honor to be chosen and recognized for all the years that you put in and the athletic world.
We were just talking to Chad, and he said when he did his interview with Roy Fuco from the Ledger, of course, we couldn't do this event without the good partnership with the Ledger, but when he did the interview, a lot of it started flooding back, and he said Roy actually remembered more stuff than he did.
Oh, yeah, Roy knows everything.
But that article, what was that another moment in this progression towards tonight?
Oh, there's no question. It definitely allows you to say a lot of things that you don't have time to say. Obviously, in 5 minutes, speaking to everybody.
Yeah, it is a short speech, but as you know, there's so many athletes to recognize tonight. And talk about that. Talk about the talent, the hotbed that Polk County is for high school sports and then college sports as well.
Yeah, well, certainly one of the things that I definitely am bringing up tonight is, of course, the leadership of our county athletic director, Dan Talbot, who's made sports in Polk County known throughout the state without question. And he certainly is a big leader in accomplishing that for us.
Well, I know they're getting ready to start, and we don't want to keep you, but we wanted to catch you and just say again, congratulations and good luck with the induction tonight.
Thank you. It's quite an honor.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, from my football days, can everybody stand up real quick? I need everybody to stretch your legs out. How many people have heard of give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair? I got to wake up my grandkids over there. And from my football days, we're going to go on hikes. Set and hike. Set, hike. Woo! Levin's right here. Levin, no, you know it. Okay, everybody can sit down. I had to wake up my grandkids down there. First of all, let me just say that I'm incredibly honored and humbled to be here tonight. So many icons, so many legends over the years that I've seen out there where you are walk up here. And, of course, everybody on the Hall of Fame over there, I know all of them because I've been doing this a long time. I really want to congratulate all the athletes that are here tonight. It takes tremendous hard work to get here. And I certainly want to congratulate the parents and the coaches that got them here. Let's give them a big hand. And I want to thank all of the Hall of Fame inductees that are here tonight because it's all the accomplishments that they made to get here are unbelievable. Lots and lots of long hours and very hard work, 16, 18-hour days. Those are days that they're used to. I want to thank the committee for selecting me. I certainly want to thank Mark Jackson. I've dealt with Mark for over 30 years. When he was in a little cubicle on the second floor of the Bartow Bank building. Some of you may have remembered that. And you can see where he's at now, where he's come with it. I want to definitely thank our county athletic director, Dan Talbot, who's put Polk County on the map without a question through all of his expertise and his hard work. I want to also thank my family that's here tonight. I want to thank all my coaches that are here tonight. And I want to thank all my players that are here tonight. Those guys are what make it all worthwhile, without question. Every coach will tell you that you're not going to win without athletes, that's for sure. But you got to have coachable athletes. And I was very fortunate in all the years that I coached to have talented athletes. And the biggest thing I had were dedicated, loyal coaches. And I got a whole squad. If you guys will stand up real quick, all the coaches that are here. These guys are all my biggest legacy, and those are all guys that put in many, many years. Some of them have been with me for 30 and 40 years. They were players for me. They were coaches for me. Guys that I've had that have coached in professional baseball, coached in college baseball, coached in high school baseball. And the biggest thing that I love is, I live right down the street. I got one of my former players lives on my street, and he's out there with his daughter in his front yard with his little flip net, having her on a tee. And those are kind of things that, as a coach, you want to instill as a legacy. I certainly have to thank my top assistant of all time, of course, and that's my wife, Jackie. And you can save the applause because she, when I married her, I had no idea that she was a baseball analyst. And she was already into launch angle before it became a thing. She's all about wanting the long ball, the 3-run home run. And I get home and she'd go, "Oh, why did you bunt Johnny in the 5th inning?" Or the next game it'd be, "Why didn't you bunt Johnny?" And she also was a pitching guru. She didn't talk about spin angles or spin rates or anything of that nature. But I'd walk in the front door and she'd say, "See, I told you if you'd have pitched Bo, we would have won." And so she certainly has been a big supporter of Lake Region High School and all the games that we've been at for 30 years in every sport. And as an athletic director, I was in every sport, many long hours, and she supported all of them. Our late announcer, Roger White, pronounced her as the Queen of Lake Region. We walk in the gym. Oh, the Queen of Lake Region's here. Everybody stand up. And I'd ask Roger, I said, well, what happened to the King of Lake Region? He never could answer that for me. So she got all the honors for that. I always want to say this is a dream come true. It's a very memorable evening. I certainly want to give all the glory and credit to my coaches, to my players, and of course to God, because he called me to coach, and without him, I certainly wouldn't have coached for over 50 years. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm pleased to be joined now by Chad Barnhart, a 2024 inductee to the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame. When you got the call, what was that moment like for you?
Well, when you called me, I was a little taken aback. I was actually at work and just really surprised. I knew I'd been nominated many moons ago, but I guess it kind of came to fruition, but I certainly didn't expect it.
Well, it's funny you say that because, as you know, there's a committee and it gets voted on and all that, and it's some tough competition. And talk about that, because obviously you played football in this county and then you went on to play at USF. I saw Coach, we actually talked to Coach a minute ago. Talk about what it meant to grow up in Polk County and play against that competition, and why it made you successful in college, and now why you're successful in your career.
Well, to your point, there's so much talent that comes through here in all sports, girls and boys, and has for a number of years. Certainly playing here seasons you for the next level, depending upon what that is. Right. Regardless, I think Polk is the best county of all. There's some that would argue that, but I certainly think we're number one. And that puts us in a great spot coming out of here to be in a good position when we get to that next level.
So this is the Polk County, as you know, Polk County All Sports Awards and Hall of Fame induction. And there's a lot of youngsters in the crowd tonight. And just give us a little sneak peek as to what they're going to hear from you when you go up to the podium and give that speech.
Just really thankful for all the opportunities I had, for my family, for my teammates and friends, and everyone I ran into, including that guy right there, Bullock. It's not just about me. That's going to be the center of my speech.
When you got the call, did the memories start flooding back? Was it high school?
Yeah,
was it college? What was that like?
They did, and doing an interview with Roy the other day, he's seen a lot of that.
Sure.
Particularly at the high school level. So I think he remembers more than I do at some points.
I'm glad you said it. We'll be sitting in meetings with Carter like, how does he remember
I
that?
know, and he'll bring up things, and I'll be like, gosh, I didn't think about that one. But, yeah, it certainly triggers a lot of good memories. So I just feel so fortunate to be able to go back to those and talk about them and be here tonight.
Well, enjoy the moment. Again, congratulations, and we look forward to hearing your induction speech.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. This jacket feels pretty good. Good evening, everyone. What a crowd. It is a pleasure to be here for this wonderful event, and it is an honor to be inducted with such an awesome group and to join the previous Hall of Famers that came before us, especially my fellow Highlanders that have also received this honor. Nancy. I would also like to thank my family and friends who are right down here at these two tables for your support and motivation over so many years. Many of you are here, as I mentioned, and I can't express how much y'all mean to me. I truly mean that. April told me to not make them stand up because she wasn't going to do it, so I'm not going to say that part. I would also like to congratulate all the other award-winning teams and individuals here tonight and offer a special thanks to Polk County Sports Hall of Fame, Visit Central Florida Sports, as well as the RP Funding Center, and thank them for providing such a wonderful venue and event. And I'd lastly like to thank Bing Tice. I didn't see him here tonight. I'm not sure if he is, but I'd like to offer him a special thanks for nominating me for this honor. You know, it is ultra special to be here tonight, as I mentioned, and it is indeed even better to be from Polk County and Lake Wales, Florida. We support each other, love each other, drink the same water, and some other beverages, some of them adult, and generally care about what is going on in our communities together. We truly do. So much success and countless champions have made their mark here in this county and will continue to do so in this great place that we all call home. There were so many people that helped me over the years. In addition to my incredible family and friends I noted earlier, I've had several role models, teammates, and competitors, such as Bull, that propelled me and motivated me to be the absolute best I could be. I also want to recognize all the head coaches and assistant coaches all the way back to 1982 in T-ball. I'm bringing in Nancy again. She was our head coach for Sunbank. This was followed by Little League and high school, then pro ball and college. As a matter of fact, head ball coaches Rod Schaefer, Mike Campbell from Lake Wales High School, and Jim Levitt from USF are here tonight to help us celebrate. And I would like them to stand up and be recognized, please. Special men there. No way I get any of the opportunities I received without these great people, all in general. Thank you all so much. After my playing career and graduation from USF, I was again lucky to come back to Lake Wales High School, where I spent 3 years as the baseball coach and 3 years as the football coach, which was then followed by 2 additional stints in coaching at USF and Weber. You know, as I reflect back on that time, I was just so blessed to be surrounded by great people again. And those 10 years certainly shaped me in a positive way going forward the rest of my life. With all these points noted, I currently feel fortunate to be able to help our communities, work for a top-notch organization at South State Bank. Hint, hint, wink, wink, come talk to me if you need anything. And most importantly, be a part of our wonderful family. We will continue to reside in Lake Wales, God willing, while traveling to softball and volleyball tournaments, supporting our wonderful daughter and student athlete Piper, me and her mama April, and her teams going forward. Piper, raise your hand. That is, after all, you know, looking back to 1982, from my point of view, that's what it's all about. Again, thank you, everyone, for this honor and for coming tonight. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you.
All right, well, we're here now with Commissioner Rick Wilson, but we're going to change the title because as of tonight, 2024 inductee into the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame, and out of habit, I have to call you Commissioner.
Oh, yeah.
Commissioner.
Or just Rick. I'm used to that, too.
Well, Commissioner it is.
Okay.
But I know you're in a number of Hall of Fames, and I know in talking to you and in your conversation with Jack, getting ready for this one is a little bit different for you, being it's Polk County and being its home.
Oh, it definitely is. You know, that's, like you said, I've been inducted into some other Hall of Fames, and they're all great. But this one here, you know, my hometown, home county.
Yep.
Is very, very, very special. I mean, this is where I got started. And, you know, the people in this county, a lot of these people that live here helped me, you know, when I first got started and even after I got on up. Mm-hmm. So this is very, very special. And I, you know, as I've said a couple times, I never did what I did to get inducted into a Hall of Fame.
Right.
I did it because I loved sport. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we just loved it almost more than anything in the world, and that's what you got to do to be successful. You know, you got to work hard.
Well, and I think it's funny because obviously you were nominated, and as you know, there's a whole committee and there's a group of community leaders across the county that go into the whole process, and everyone's first inclination was, oh, put him in as a contributor. because of all your public service and all the
Right.
things that you've done since your racing career. But no, a lot of people didn't know you had a very long and storied career in NASCAR. Talk a little bit about that experience when you were racing.
You know, it's, as I said, it was just something that I really loved to do. You know, when my first sport was football. I love football more than anything. I loved it as much as I did racing. And I was very successful at it. I mean, I got, you know, all-state, first team, scholarships, but I knew I wasn't going to grow another foot. So I knew that, I mean, I just knew that I might play some college ball.
Sure.
But that, I mean, realistically.
Right.
So, but my background was tinkering and racing cars, you know, which I make a joke about it, but back then the back roads around Polk County. But I figured out pretty quick that wasn't a good way to go. So I got into racing, and it just, I was so blessed, so lucky to be able to do and get where I did. And it's all about the people you meet, the people that you surround yourself with, good people that, you know, that are behind you.
Sure.
You got to have it doesn't matter if it's football, baseball, or whatever, you got to have that team behind you.
Right.
And if you don't have that team behind you and the people supporting you, you don't ever go nowhere.
And, you know, it's funny having done this for so many years, and it's true. And that's why people say it. That is exactly, you have to have people behind you. And you look at this event, over 800 people are going to be here. A percentage of that are the award winners, but there's families, there's
Yes.
moms and dads and grandparents and
yes.
aunts and uncles and the community.
Yeah, you know, it's just like my family. You know, my wife, and we had children, and I was gone all the time racing, and she had to step up and do what she had to do. And I mean, it was grandparents taking care, because I was on the road 6 days a week.
Right.
And but you know, it was just amazing to be able to do what I did, and I met some great people along the way. Won a lot of races, but I can tell you this, you know, everybody says, you know, I mean, one year I won over 100 races, you know, short track racing and all over the United States. And got into Cup and won, you know, races there in ARCA, one Daytona, Bristol, Dover. But, you know, but the thing you really realize what's great is the people that you meet and you're around.
Right.
I sit there and say you win this and you win that, but I'm going to tell you what, you lose a lot more than you ever win.
Sure.
And that's what makes the certain ones work harder and try to win more. I mean, people say, oh, you win this, you win that. Well, it's in any sport.
Winning's not easy.
No, you
in
get into
anything.
any sport.
That's right.
You know, look at baseball, basketball, or a single event team, and when you're, you know, you lose more than you win.
Yeah.
I don't think there's very many athletes that come along that said, well, I never lost. You know, well, you're in a different sport than I ever
That's
heard
right.
of. Now, I'm not saying it
No,
didn't happen, but
right,
it could have happened.
right. Well,
I've never heard of it.
Commissioner, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
We certainly look forward to your speech and just enjoy the moment.
Hey, thank you very much.
All right,
It's great.
thank you.
Hey, I just want to say this. This is very humbling, especially to go behind some great athletes, past and present Hall of Famers. I mean, this is pretty big. You know, I've been fortunate in my life to be in some other, you know, Hall of Fames, and in my sport that happens a lot. What I was in racing, but this one here being in Polk County, this is my home. I think some of y'all know me or like me or dislike me because I'm a county commissioner. And I'm probably going to have to start a new TDC, but because of Mark. But you know, this is my home. This is where I was born. I was raised, and this is what I love. I've been all over this country and all over this, you know, in this world racing and going different places, but always come back to home and come back to Bartow, and it means a lot. But being inducted into this is very, very, very special. I couldn't have done it, you know, without a lot and lots and lots of people. First of all, my family. My wife, Teresa, the days early on, let me tell you this quick story. The first time I asked her out, I said, would you like to go out with me? She said, well, sure. Whew, that scared me. And so took her to the East Bay racetrack. If y'all knew what that was, that is a red clay racetrack. She had on white tennis shoes, a white pair of jeans, and a white blouse. And she enjoyed herself. So I said, well, this is a keeper. But I appreciate her because she made a lot of sacrifices in all those years of me being on the road, raising our family, doing everything that had to be done. That's just a small part of it. I mean, she did a lot. And if it wasn't for her, I couldn't have never got what I did and got accomplished of what I did.
And there's so many more people. You know, and the younger people in this crowd, I want to say this. You know, you can be a great athlete, you can be a great at what you do, but you got to have the people around you to help you get there. That's family, God. You got to have them there to help you get there, because you can't do it on your own. And for support, for winning, for losing. You will lose a lot more than you will ever win. And that is a tough thing to come about. You got to deal with that every day. You got to have people pick you up, get you turned around, and give you strength, and get you ready for the next day. And that's where I had a great bunch of people that did that. You know, in my sport, did a lot of traveling and met a lot of great people. And it made me what I am. I mean, we were racing, we had sponsors. I mean, I remember when I was a young guy trying to get a sponsor, and the next thing I know, I was sitting in New York City. Well, no, not New York City, Rochester, New York, and Eastman Kodak. And that was one of the first major sponsors that NASCAR got, which was Kodak Film. But I was sitting in there, and it turned me into a different person when I sit down there. So it makes you work hard and makes you do things that you never thought you could do and that you can do. But sports can do it for you. You just got to work, and you got to work hard at it. But, you know, I look here at some of the greatest, you know, coaches in Polk County, some of the greatest athletes, and it is, I will say again, a pure honor to be part of it. And this is my home, Polk County. And I have been blessed with a lovely family, friends, and, you know, I've been blessed in my life coming here and becoming a county commissioner, so y'all have somebody to holler at and get mad at. But you know, we are in a great county. We have a great county. And, you know, it's sometimes I am very, very blessed. So thank you. I hope I haven't forgot anybody. At least I said my wife, and that's what counted, because I have done that before. But my family and everybody that got me here. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you.